Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about a challenge that could change your life forever. Not a challenge of lifting weights, not a challenge of running marathons, but a challenge of mastering the most powerful tool you will ever possess, your mind. I call it the 7 days mental diet. Now, let me tell you something. Your life will always move in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. If your mind is cluttered with fear, with doubt, with anger, with envy, then your life will reflect that. If your thoughts are empowered, courageous, filled with vision and hope, then your life will reflect that too. The battlefield is not out there. It's in here. Between your ears. That's where victories are won, and that's where defeats are suffered. So, what is the 7 days mental diet? For 7 straight days, I challenge you to eliminate negative thinking, destructive self-talk, and every poisonous thought that holds you back. For 7 straight days, you commit to feeding your mind only with strength, only with possibility, only with faith. Now, I know what you're thinking. 7 days. That sounds easy. But let me warn you, it's not. Try it and you'll see how much garbage we allow into our minds every single day. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. Boom. There goes your peace. Your boss criticizes you. There goes your confidence. You scroll through social media comparing yourself to people you don't even know. There goes your joy. That's the mental junk food we've been feasting on, and it's time to go on a diet. For 7 days, you must starve your doubts and feed your dreams. Let me break it down. Day 1, awareness. You cannot change what you are not aware of. On the first day, I want you to simply notice your thoughts. Pay attention. Do you complain more than you celebrate? Do you criticize more than you appreciate? Awareness is power. Once you see it, you can seize it. Day 2, elimination. The second day, start cutting. Cut the gossip. Cut the blame. Cut the excuses. If a negative thought enters your mind, don't entertain it. Don't set out the couch for it. Show it the door. You have the right to choose what stays in your mind, just as you choose what food enters your body. Day 3, replacement. When you eliminate a negative thought, don't leave the space empty. Replace it. Swap worry for gratitude. Trade fear for faith. Turn, I can't, into, I will figure it out. You can't fight darkness with darkness. You turn on the light. Day 4, affirmation. On the 4th day, begin affirming who you really are. Every morning, speak life into your spirit. Say, I am capable. I am disciplined. I am more than enough. I am destined for greatness. Don't wait for someone else to validate you. Don't wait for the world to clap for you. You've got to clap for yourself. Day 5, vision. See yourself the way you want to be, not the way you currently are. Walk in the image of your future self. If you want to be confident, stand tall now. If you want to be successful, discipline yourself now. If you want peace, practice peace now. The mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality, so imagine boldly. Day 6, action. Thoughts without action are wasted energy. On the 6th day, take a bold step. Make the call. Start the project. Begin the workout. Action cements belief. You prove to yourself that your thoughts are not just empty words. They are fuel for real change. Day 7, reflection. The final day, look back at the week. Celebrate your victories. Forgive your slips. Every step you took was a step away from the old you and a step toward the best you. Reflection gives you perspective, and perspective gives you power. Now listen, the 7 days mental diet is not just about a week. It's about training your mind for life. Because if you can do it for 7 days, you can do it for 70. And if you can do it for 70, you can do it for the rest of your life. Some of you here today are carrying heavy loads, regret, heartbreak, fear of failure. But let me tell you this, you cannot live a positive life with a negative mind. If you want new results, you need new thoughts. You can't plant weeds and expect roses to grow. So the question is, what are you feeding your mind? Are you feeding it doubt, fear, and limitation? Or are you feeding it courage, vision, and abundance? Because your mind will give back exactly what you put in. I promise you this, when you take on this challenge, you will notice the difference. Your energy will shift. Your confidence will rise. Your relationships will improve. Opportunities will start showing up. Why? Because you have changed your vibration. You have changed your frequency. You've tuned your mind to success instead of failure. But here's the warning, it won't be easy. You will be tested. You will be tempted. Old habits will come knocking. But when they do, remember this, you are stronger than your excuses, greater than your fears, and more powerful than your past. For 7 days, guard your mind like a soldier guarding a treasure, because that's exactly what it is, a treasure. And once you master it, there is nothing, absolutely nothing you cannot achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, the 7 days mental diet is not just a program. It's a promise to yourself, a promise that you will no longer be a prisoner of your thoughts, but the commander of your destiny. So, are you ready? Are you ready to rise above negativity? Are you ready to feed your mind with power, with faith, with vision? Are you ready to take the 7 days mental diet challenge and step into the life you were born to live? Then make the decision today. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. Because your best life doesn't begin when the world changes. It begins when you change your mind. Starve your doubts. Feed your dreams. That statement alone can transform the way you live, because most people don't realize how much energy they waste every day by feeding their doubts. Doubt is like a parasite that latches onto your mind. It whispers to you that you are not enough, that you don't have what it takes, that your past failures are proof of your future limitations. Every time you listen to that voice, you are giving it food. You are giving it strength. You are letting it grow bigger inside of you until it becomes the loudest voice in the room. And the truth is, many people spend more time feeding their doubts than they do feeding their faith, their vision, or their dreams. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to take action on something important? Starting a business, applying for a promotion, speaking in public, chasing a passion, but instead you stopped yourself because doubt showed up. How many times did you let an opportunity pass you by because you kept replaying reasons why you couldn't instead of reasons why you could? Every time you allow that, you are serving a meal to doubt, and doubt is never satisfied. The more you feed it, the hungrier it gets. But here's the good news. Just as doubt grows when you feed it, dreams grow the same way. A dream starved will wither, but a dream fed will come alive. Feeding your dreams means giving attention, time, and energy to the vision you have for yourself. It means rehearsing in your mind what is possible instead of rehearsing what could go wrong. It means talking to yourself in a way that builds courage instead of fear. And the moment you make the decision to starve doubt and feed your dream, you begin to tip the balance of power inside of you. Doubt thrives on certain foods. It loves excuses. It loves comparison. It loves procrastination. It loves when you surround yourself with people who speak small, think small, and leave small. Doubt feeds on the language of, I can't. I'm not ready. I don't know how. If you want to starve doubt, you must stop serving it these meals. When excuses arise, cut them off. When the urge to compare sneaks in, remind yourself that your path is unique. When procrastination tempts you, take even the smallest step forward. And when your environment drags you down, change your environment. On the other side, dreams have their own menu. Dreams feed on belief, discipline, and vision. Dreams grow when you rehearse affirmations that remind you of your worth and your power. They grow when you take daily actions, even tiny ones, that move you closer to your goals. They grow when you protect your imagination and allow yourself to visualize the life you desire, not once, not twice, but over and over again until it becomes real inside you. Dreams feed on possibility. Every time you say to yourself, yes, I can. Yes, it's possible. Yes, it's within me. You are giving your dreams strength. Starving doubt doesn't mean that doubt will never show up. It will. It always will. But when it comes, you don't serve it a feast anymore. You don't set the table. You don't give it the luxury of staying. You acknowledge it and then you let it go because you know that the energy you would have wasted on doubt is the same energy you now invest in your dream. And when you consistently redirect that energy, you create momentum. Momentum is what transforms a fragile idea into a burning vision. Momentum is what turns hesitation into confidence. Momentum is what turns a dream into reality. The truth is, every single day you are feeding something. You are either feeding your doubt or feeding your dream. There is no neutral ground. If you wake up and you complain, if you focus on what's missing, if you replay your failures, you are feeding doubt. If you wake up and you affirm your vision, if you take even a small step toward your goal, if you focus on gratitude, you are feeding your dream. It is a choice, and it's a choice you make every moment of every day. Guard your mind like treasure. Your mind is the control center of your life, the source of your decisions, your confidence, your peace, and your future. Just like you wouldn't leave your house unlocked at night or your wallet lying in the middle of a crowded street, you cannot afford to leave your mind unprotected. What you allow into your mind will determine what flows out of your life. The thoughts you permit to take root will grow into attitudes, habits, and eventually outcomes. That's why guarding your mind is not optional. It is essential if you want to create the life you've been dreaming of. Think of your mind as a vault containing the most precious jewels. If you had a vault of gold or diamonds, you would lock it up tight, protect it from thieves, and check constantly to make sure nothing slipped away. Yet many people treat their minds carelessly. They let in every negative comment, every toxic piece of news, every discouraging word from people who don't even believe in themselves. They binge on negativity and then wonder why they feel weak, anxious, or defeated. If you want strength, you must guard the source of your strength. Guarding your mind means being intentional about what you consume. Words are food for the mind. If you feed on gossip, criticism, fear, and scarcity, your mind will become sick and malnourished. But if you feed on faith, inspiration, wisdom, and gratitude, your mind will become strong and resilient. Just as you choose what you eat for your body, you must choose what you allow your eyes to see, your ears to hear, and your heart to absorb. Every song you listen to, every show you watch, every book you read, every conversation you entertain, these are all meals for your mind. Ask yourself, is this feeding my power or draining it? Another part of guarding your mind is protecting it from the influence of people. You can't afford to give everyone access to your inner world. Some people carry so much negativity that being around them feels like carrying a heavy weight. They see problems in every solution, darkness in every light, and impossibility in every dream. If you let those voices take residence in your mind, you'll start to believe them. Protect your space. Surround yourself with those who challenge you to grow, who believe in your potential, who remind you of your strength even when you forget. Guarding your mind also means controlling your self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has more power than the way anyone else speaks to you. If you constantly criticize yourself, if you replay every mistake, if you tell yourself you are not enough, then you become your own enemy. But when you speak to yourself with love, discipline, and belief, you become your own ally. The mind needs encouragement just as much as the body needs food. Every time you affirm your worth, you build a shield against the arrows of doubt and fear. Distraction is another thief of the mind. Every beep, every notification, every endless scroll through information that adds no value, it all weakens your ability to focus. Focus is a form of strength. And if your focus is always under attack, your mind will be scattered and restless. Guard your focus as part of guarding your mind. Decide what deserves your attention and what does not. Not everything that demands your attention deserves it. Your imagination is also part of your mind's treasure. It is the place where your future is built. If you don't protect it, others will fill it with their limitations. When you guard your imagination, you give yourself permission to dream without apology, to envision possibilities without letting fear steal them. Protect your imagination fiercely, because what you see in your mind today becomes what you live in tomorrow. Your mind is not just another part of you. It is the commander of everything else. If your body is strong but your mind is weak, you will stumble. If your environment is favorable but your mind is unguarded, you will sabotage yourself. The strength of your life begins with the strength of your thoughts. That's why guarding your mind must become a daily discipline, not something you do occasionally, but something you practice constantly. Replace every negative thought with a positive one. The human mind is constantly active, producing thought after thought like waves crashing on the shore. Some of those thoughts are uplifting, others destructive. You don't always get to choose the first thought that enters your mind, but you do get to choose whether it stays. And you do get to choose what comes after it. When negativity appears, you have the power to replace it, to redirect your focus, and to change the story you tell yourself. This practice is not about pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about choosing which thoughts deserve your energy and which ones must be replaced. Negative thoughts are inevitable, but they don't have to be permanent. They come in the form of fear. What if I fail? They come in the form of doubt. Maybe I'm not good enough. They come in the form of regret. I should have done better. If left unchecked, these thoughts multiply and create patterns that weaken your confidence and drain your potential. But when you deliberately replace them, you disrupt their cycle. You stop them from building a nest in your mind. And instead you create new patterns that strengthen your resilience and fuel your growth. Replacing negative thoughts begins with recognition. You must become aware of the language you are using in your mind. For example, when you hear yourself thinking, I can't do this, pause and replace it with, I will find a way to do this. The situation may not change immediately, but your perspective shifts, and that shift gives you energy. Instead of being paralyzed by the problem, you open yourself to solutions. The replacement thought acts like a key that unlocks a different path forward. Another powerful replacement is turning worry into gratitude. When you catch yourself worrying about what might go wrong, replace that with a reflection on what has already gone right. Gratitude changes the emotional tone of your mind. You cannot be overwhelmed by fear and filled with gratitude at the same time. By deliberately focusing on what you appreciate, you silence the noise of worry and strengthen your sense of abundance. Negative self-criticism is another thought that must be replaced. Many people carry an inner voice that constantly says, you're not smart enough. You're not talented enough. You're not worthy. These thoughts dig deep, shaping your identity and your behavior. But you are not required to accept them. When that voice appears, you can replace it with affirmations that remind you of your strength. I am learning. I am growing. I am capable. I am enough. Over time, these affirmations build a new inner voice that speaks power into your life instead of poison. Replacing negative thoughts with positive ones also requires discipline in your environment. If you spend time in spaces where negativity is the norm, your mind will be saturated with it. Complaints, criticism, and cynicism are contagious, but so are encouragement, hope, and belief. Surround yourself with people and environments that help you practice replacing negativity. When you see someone else choose positivity in the face of difficulty, it reinforces your ability to do the same. Visualization is another tool for replacement. Instead of replaying worst case scenarios in your mind, deliberately picture best case outcomes. See yourself succeeding. See yourself overcoming. See yourself thriving. The images you hold in your mind are seeds, and if you constantly replay negative images, you grow weeds. If you replace them with positive ones, you grow gardens of possibility. It's important to remember that replacement is not denial. You are not ignoring challenges. You are choosing not to let destructive thoughts dominate your mind. You are making a decision to redirect your mental energy toward hope, solutions, and possibilities. This choice must be practiced again and again until it becomes natural. Every time you replace a negative thought with a positive one, you are training your brain, rewiring its pathways, and strengthening your ability to remain centered no matter what you face. Your life will not be determined by the random thoughts that pass through your mind, but by the thoughts you choose to nurture. Each replacement is like a deposit in the bank of your future. Over time, those deposits grow into wealth, mental wealth, emotional wealth, spiritual wealth. That wealth becomes the foundation for the actions you take, the risks you embrace, and the victories you achieve. Affirm who you are, not who you fear you are. Every single day, a conversation is happening inside your head, and that conversation has more influence over your destiny than the opinions of anyone else. The words you say to yourself shape your confidence, your courage, and your choices. Too often, people affirm their fears instead of their strengths. They repeat silently, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, I always mess things up. And those words take root like seeds in fertile soil. They grow into beliefs. Those beliefs become habits, and those habits eventually create a life that reflects the very fears they never wanted. To break that cycle, you must choose to affirm who you truly are at your core, not the lies that fear tries to convince you of. Affirmations are not empty slogans. They are reminders of your potential and declarations of your truth. When you speak words of strength to yourself, you are reinforcing new pathways in your brain. You are literally reprogramming the way you think and the way you see yourself. For example, when fear says, you're not prepared, and you respond with, I am resourceful, I can learn, I am ready to grow. You disrupt the influence of fear. You remind yourself that you are not defined by what you lack. You are defined by your ability to rise and become more. Many people wait for external validation. They wait for their boss to recognize them, for their family to support them, for society to applaud them. But if you wait for others to affirm you, you place your worth in their hands. You hand over your power to voices that may never speak the words you long to hear. Affirming yourself is about reclaiming that power. It's about saying, even if no one else believes in me, I will believe in me. Even if no one else celebrates me, I will celebrate me. That is not arrogance. That is self-respect. Fear thrives on repetition. The more you replay fearful thoughts, the stronger they become. But repetition also works in your favor when you use it to affirm your truth. Speaking positive affirmations once will not be enough. You must repeat them daily, consistently, until they sink so deep into your subconscious that they become automatic. Say to yourself, I am disciplined. I am capable. I am worthy of success. I have what it takes. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. It may feel untrue. But with repetition, those words will transform from wishes into convictions, and convictions are the foundation of action. Affirming who you are also means aligning yourself. Talk with your vision. If your dream is to be a leader, speak to yourself as a leader would. If your dream is to be healthy, speak to yourself as someone already living in health. If your dream is to achieve financial freedom, affirm the discipline and wisdom of someone who manages wealth responsibly. Your words are rehearsal for your future. The more you practice affirming the identity you desire, the more natural it becomes to live as that identity. Fear will always try to disguise itself as truth. It will remind you of your past failures, your mistakes, your shortcomings. But affirmations are not about ignoring your past. They are about refusing to let your past define your future. You may have failed before, but that does not mean you are a failure. You may have been overlooked before, but that does not mean you are invisible. You may have doubted yourself before, but that does not mean you are powerless. When you affirm who you are choosing to stand in your potential instead of kneeling before your fear. This is why affirmations must be spoken with conviction. Don't whisper them as if you are unsure. Declare them with strength. Look at yourself in the mirror and speak them boldly. Say them until your body feels the truth in your bones. Say them until your energy shifts. Say them until your actions align. Because affirming who you are is not just about changing your thoughts. It's about changing your state of being, your energy, and your direction. Your life moves in the direction of your dominant thoughts. Every thought you dwell on is like a steering wheel turning the course of your future. If your mind is dominated by fear, you will make decisions rooted in fear. If your mind is dominated by courage, you will step into opportunities that fear would have made you miss. If your mind is dominated by lack, you will behave as if there is never enough, even when abundance is available to you. If your mind is dominated by possibility, you will find solutions where others see only walls. The dominant thoughts you carry are like magnets, drawing experiences, people, and outcomes that match their energy. Every day, thousands of thoughts flash through your mind. Some pass quickly, but others linger, replaying over and over again until they begin to shape your beliefs. It is not the random thought that changes your life. It is the repeated thought, the one that takes root and grows into a mindset. A person who constantly thinks, I'm unlucky, nothing ever works out for me, begins to notice only the evidence that confirms that belief. A person who thinks, I'm capable, I can overcome anything, begins to notice opportunities and resources that align with that belief. Life follows thought, and thought creates focus. Consider the farmer who plants seeds. If he plants corn, he will not harvest wheat. If he plants weeds, he will not harvest fruit. The soil simply gives back what was planted in it. Your mind is the same. The dominant thoughts you allow to take root will eventually bear fruit in your behavior, your attitude, and your circumstances. You cannot think failure all day long and then expect success to knock on your door. You cannot think weakness all day and then expect to walk in strength. What you consistently think, you will eventually live. This principle works both ways. It can either trap you or liberate you. Many people are trapped because they don't realize their thoughts are leading their lives down paths they don't want to walk. They replay their mistakes so often that they build identities around them. They repeat their fears so often that they build limitations around them. And then they wonder why life feels heavy and stagnant. But when you begin to shift your dominant thoughts, you shift the entire direction of your life. Shifting dominant thoughts doesn't mean pretending that negative thoughts never come. It means refusing to let them dominate. For example, a negative thought may whisper, you're not smart enough for that job. Instead of allowing it to repeat endlessly, replace it with a dominant thought of possibility. I can learn. I can grow. I am capable of handling challenges. When you choose to repeat this thought, You make it dominant, and over time, your behavior will align with it. You will seek out learning, you will embrace challenges, and your confidence will expand. This is why consistency matters. A single positive thought is not enough to shift your life. It is the repetition of positive, empowering, and courageous thoughts that changes your direction. Just like going to the gym once will not transform your body, entertaining a positive thought once will not transform your mind. You must return to it again and again until it becomes automatic, until it becomes the voice that speaks loudest in your head. Your dominant thoughts also influence how you see the world. Two people can face the same problem, but their mindset determines their response. One sees only obstacles, the other sees opportunity. One gives up, the other grows. It is not the problem that determines the outcome. It is the thought that dominates the mind when the problem arrives. If your dominant thought is, I am resilient, you will endure. If your dominant thought is, I am powerless, you will surrender. The key is to ask yourself daily, what thoughts are dominating my mind right now? If you find fear, replace it. If you find doubt, counter it. If you find limitation, challenge it. Because whatever dominates your thinking today is building the foundation of your tomorrow.